Edge has had one of the greatest WWE runs any wrestler could ask for, whether that be in his first tenure or his second tenure. The current AEW star, formerly working under his real life name of Adam Copeland, now goes by Cope for some reason. However, he made a name for himself as one of the greatest of all time in both the singles division and the tag team division. After a slow start following his debut in 1998, Edge started to shine alongside Christian, first following the amazing ladder match against the Hardys at No Mercy 1999, but then he really started to pick up when he turned heel with Christian in the year 2000. From that point on, the rated R Suuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuu these matches being absolute certified bangers, as Sheamus would say. Welcome to Honor Wrestling Club, and here are the 13 greatest matches of Edge's WWE career, with a rating from Honor Wrestling Club. Welcome to the club. Admin time before we begin, however. Everyone's favourite bit of lists. We have chosen here to focus on Edge's work as a singles wrestler in this video, as otherwise this list would just be tag team match after tag team match, and it may get a little boring. And also in tag team matches it's like not entirely down to him, whereas in singles matches it usually is most like 50% at least him, where tag team matches 25%. So this is a more definitive review of Edge. Welcome to the club. In number 13 we start with Edge versus John Cena in a last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship from Backlash 2009 with a rating of 8 out of 10. Edge had one of his greatest rivalries against John Cena. After helping to establish John Cena as a main eventer earlier in his career, we'll come back to that later, don't you worry about that, they would meet again in 2009 because they're destined to do this forever, you and I. Edge stole Kofi Kingston's spot in the Elimination Chamber match at No Way Out that year, and won Cena's world title, with the C-Nation leader winning back the title at WrestleMania 25 after employing clone distractions. The rivals settled the score once and for all in a last man standing match at Backlash the next month. They battled all over the arena for nearly 30 minutes, even going to the crowd before coming back to the stage. Here, the Big Show would interfere and chokeslam Cena through a spotlight that exploded, which allowed the Ultimate Opportunist to reclaim the gold. In number 12, we have Edge vs Kurt Angle in a hair vs hair match, Judgment Day 2002, with a rating also of 8 out of 10. Kurt Angle had a major impact on Edge's career. After all, the team of Ek was very funny in the year 2000. After going solo in 2001, the Canadian struggled to find his footing, dropping the Intercontinental Championship to William Regal in early 2002, and working a subpar match with Booker T at WrestleMania 18 over a fake Japanese shampoo commercial. Things got much better though after Mania for Edge, when he started to work with the Olympic Hero. Their highly entertaining feud culminated with a hair vs hair match at Judgment Day that year. While they had better matches in terms of in-ring work and psychology, this was the most entertaining and memorable bout that they ever had together. Edge would pick up the win and would shave Angle's hair later during the show, which would lead to the briefly brilliant bit of him wearing a wig, and then he would become the wrestling machine Kurt Angle. In number 11, we have Edge vs Kurt Angle from Backlash 2002 with a rating of 8.25 out of 10. While the match we just discussed, Judgment Day, is the most memorable match, the Backlash encounter was technically superior and overall better. The young Edge proved that he could hang in the ring with one of the best in the business without any gimmicks involved. This match was great from bell to bell. Angle and Edge put on an excellent match and traded some hot near falls back and forth near the end. The final sequence saw Edge getting caught in the ankle lock, which was more than enough to finish the match. Edge lost here, but actually gained a lot of attention and probably gained more from the match by losing after his impressive showing. In number 10, we have Edge vs Matt Hardy in a steel cage match from Unforgiven 2005 with a rating of 8.25 out of 10. In the summer of 2005, Edge and Matt Hardy were involved in one of the most intense personal rivalries in WWE history. Alita had started to date Edge on the road while Matt Hardy was out injured, which led to Hardy's release in April 2005 after he spoke about it on the internet. the most heinous act a wrestler can commit. We have a video exploring this tumultuous time for all three competitors, which you can check out after this one, as the link will be down in the description below. The backlash from fans was huge to the news that Hardy had been released, which led to WWE rehiring Matt Hardy a few months later, just days before his non-compete clause would expire. The two men threw everything at each other in a physical battle inside a steel cage match at Unforgiven 2005, which they probably should have had at SummerSlam 2005, but rather they had an Edge squash mat there to set up this match, but that's just me. Matt Hardy took some extreme risks against Edge here, which later paid off as he was able to walk out with his hand raised. In number 9, we have Edge vs Mick Foley in a hardcore match from WrestleMania 22 with a rating of 8.25 out of 10. Edge finally reached the top of the WWE mountain in January 2006 as he would win his first WWE Championship at New Year's Revolution by cashing in the Money in the Bank on John Cena. His reign, however, would last less than a month, as he lost the go back to John Cena at the Royal Rumble. John Cena wins, LOL, whatever. However, this did not deter the Rated R Superstar from deciding to make history at WrestleMania 22. He felt he deserved to main event at WrestleMania, and if he wasn't going to main event, he was going to be the most memorable part of it. Edge began to feud with Mick Foley heading into the grandest stage of them all, which led to a hardcore match, as Mick Foley came out of retirement for roughly the 98th time. They had a violent match that saw both men bleed, and even Lita left with a few scars. This is number 2 on his WrestleMania moments, behind the Jeff Hardy spear. In number 8, we have an incredible SmackDown 6 main event on the December 5th, 2002 episode of SmackDown, with a rating of 8.5 out of 10. In the first half of 2002, the vaunted SmackDown 6 members tore the house down on a weekly business. December 5th, 2002 episode of SmackDown featured a fatal 4-way elimination match between 4 of the 6 men. We have Edge, Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. Sorry Chavo and Ray, you're not welcome round here. They may have been injured, I'm not sure. The stakes were high, as the winner would meet WWE Champion Big Show at the next pay-per-view, Armageddon. Why is Big Show champion? Guess you don't want to have him beat Brock yet. Edge here, though, put on a fantastic performance, lasting until the final 2, despite being assaulted by A-Train before the bell. He couldn't beat Kurt in the end, though, who would go on to become the new champion just a few weeks later. In number 7, we have Edge vs The Undertaker in a tables, ladders and chairs, oh my match for the World Heavyweight Championship at One Night Stand 2008, with a rating of 8.5 out of 10. Edge and The Undertaker faced each other numerous times for the World Heavyweight Championship throughout 2008, and we may come back to them later. At One Night Stand, the vacant title was up for grabs in a TLC match, with Undertaker's WWE contract also on the line. Unlike most of their matches, the Rated R Superstar had experience on his side this time around. The Ultimate Opportunist capitalised on that, throwing Taker off a ladder through several tables before he would unhook the belt. However, their rivalry was far from over. And you guessed it, Taker's firing did not last long. In number 6, we have John Cena vs Edge in another TLC match for the WWE Championship at Unforgiven 2006, with a rating of 8.5 out of 10. As mentioned earlier, Edge and John Cena had a fantastic feud over the years. They had many notable matches, but arguably the biggest one they ever had was the TLC match at Unforgiven 2006. Cena was booed out of the arena in Edge's hometown of Toronto, but the champ still found a way to overcome the odds. Edge had been the WWE Champion since July and had retained the title over Cena at SummerSlam the previous month in another very good match. This time, Edge was even more motivated to win, as Cena would be banished to SmackDown if he was defeated. That didn't happen, as Cena decided to punish Edge for introducing that bloody hideous looking Rated R spinner belt. It's disgusting. Cena would hit Edge with the FU/AA, whatever you want to call it, off a ladder through 2 stacked tables before he would unhook the belt. In number 5, we have Edge vs Eddie Guerrero in a no disqualification match from the September 26th edition of SmackDown from 2002, with another rating of 8.5 out of 10. Edge had grown a lot as a performer on the SmackDown brand in 2002, as part of the aforementioned SmackDown 6 group that delivered awesome matches on a weekly basis. The Ultimate Opportunist got a show chance to show off his skills against some of the greatest wrestlers in the world. The legendary Eddie Guerrero was one of those such names. The 2/3 of the SmackDown 6 had traded wins at SummerSlam and Unforgiven, and they would settle their differences in this epic no disqualification match on a measly episode of SmackDown. Remember when they used to go as these amazing matches on free TV? Pepperidge Farm remembers. They threw everything but the kitchen sink at each other. I'm pretty sure that may have been brought out at some point. And they had what many considered the greatest SmackDown match ever, up until this point. Edge came out on top of this one. In at number 4, we have Edge vs John Cena vs Shawn Michaels vs Randy Orton for the WWE Championship from Backlash 2007, with a rating of 8.75 out of 10. In 2007, it seemed that nobody could stop the Juggernaut John Cena. He defeated all of his challenges in big matches ever since he won the title from Edge in September 2006, but he had 3 great wrestlers challenging him in a 4-way match at Backlash. Fans expected a great match given the talent involved, and they were not disappointed. Michaels and Cena had yet another fun match after their awesome battles at the WrestleMania 23 event and on the episode of Raw in London, a really long match, while the Rated RKO partners clashed to see who would walk out with Cena's prize. It got more and more chaotic as time progressed, resulting in one of the best multi-man matches in WWE history. The finish was really unique as well, with Michaels super kicking Cena, who fell on top of a prone Orton who'd just been speared by Edge seconds earlier, as Cena got the accidental win. In number 3, we have Money in the Bank ladder match from WrestleMania 21 with a rating of 9 out of 10. In late 2004, Edge turned heel as he became obsessed with the fact he never won the big one. Edge believed he'd been screwed out of the title by many people, particularly Shawn Michaels, but he finally got the chance to become the man after he won the inaugural Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 21. The Rated R Superstar picked up the win over Christian, Chris Benoit, Shelton Benjamin, Kane and Chris Jericho. These 6 men were on a mission to prove that they deserved a better spot on the WrestleMania card, and they delivered a fantastic match to help the Money in the Bank concept fly. The Money in the Bank concept was an instant success because of this match, most notably because of Shelton Benjamin. However, Edge was the correct winner, and he would eventually cash in to win his first WWE Championship. And the rest, as they say, was history. In number 2, we have Edge vs The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 24. You could swap these top 2 around and you would not be wrong, because this one is a 9.25 out of 10, and so does our number 1 pick, but we'll come to that in just a moment. While Edge had reached the top when he won his first WWE title, he still couldn't really find himself in the main event of WrestleMania. After all, he wasn't called John Cena. That all changed, however, in 2008, when Edge put his world title on the line against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 24. They had been feuding ever since May 2007, when Edge had jumped to SmackDown to cash in his Money in the Bank contract for the second time in his career, stealing The Undertaker's title in a great swerve moment that really kick-started Edge's ultimate opportunist gimmick. The match here did start out a little slow, but it turned out to be a terrific bout. Edge was great in this match, showing he wasn't really scared of Taker, and that he'd do anything to escape with his title. Even if it was by count-out or disqualification, it would still count. As Edge had clearly done his homework and was deciding to use his brains rather than his brawns to try and beat Taker. The finish was great and really unexpected. Edge had a counter to all of Taker's big moves, so when he hit the spear, it seemed like it would be over. However, he got caught in Taker's new submission, the Hell's Gate. He eventually gave up, and the Deadman became the new champion. And at number 1, we're sticking with the same 2 men as we have Edge vs Taker from Inside of Hell in a Cell at SummerSlam 2008, which we mentioned already has a 9.25 out of 10. After their fantastic WrestleMania match, Edge and Taker had a couple more matches over the world title. Although Edge did win the title in a TLC match, that meant that Taker got fired at the One Night Stand 2008 event. He dropped it after getting a taste of his own medicine, losing via Money in the Bank cash-in at the hands of CM Punk in late June. And the 2 legends resumed their feud with no championships involved. By the time SummerSlam rolled around, Edge and Taker had feuded for well over a year, so it naturally resulted inside of a Hell in a Cell match at the biggest party of the summer. While some people didn't like the lack of blood, It was the first Hell in a Cell match of the PG era, which had begun the previous month. Don't worry, you weren't alone, as both men apparently didn't like the fact they couldn't bleed. They still put on an absolutely fantastic match. The Undertaker won again, much like at WrestleMania, where he made Edge pay for his sins of the past year, and the two men put on one of the most bananas Hell in a Cell matches of all time, with tons of great spots, and Taker added an exclamation point afterwards. The dead man had sent Edge to literal Christian hell, with a chokeslam off a ladder through the ring, which he then set on fire, which put a symbolic end to their awesome rivalry. After all, after cell matches are when Taker most likes to commit his acts of murder, as it does take a dead man to make a dead man. And there's our list. So what did you think? What's your favourite Edge match in WWE history? Let us know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, be sure to click that subscribe button to never miss out any of the content we make here at Honor Wrestling Club. That's all for now, so I'd just like to thank you for watching and welcome you to the club. See ya!